Alright, hey YouTube. I was just got back into town from a vacation, and I thought of a couple things that would be great to put into one video. Now, let me explain that my family is not into the prepping thing or shooting or anything that I'm into, really. And so, let's say something comes along where I would have to get them out of town with me and packed up and gone as quick as possible. Um, I was thinking of ways to do this, and I think I come up with a really good plan on how to do this. And this would be for like family who would see this as something crazy, or friends also, something crazy, or maybe are completely against weapons, completely against camping, live off their iPhones for everything. Maybe they will roll their eyes at anything that has to do with prepping, survival, disaster planning, or anything like that, because they feel that their lives are completely safe and nothing will ever go wrong, right? Which is a majority of the people out there. So here's my idea. You're going to send your family an email, and then send this to all your family, your friends, and everyone. And in this email, make sure it's an attachment, a PDF, something that they can download and just pop on their desktop or somewhere on their computer, that they could get to if either it's a laptop if power goes down, or if the internet is not working, which is highly likely if there's some kind of a disaster that calls for this. So it has to be something that they can download right onto their computer, that they don't need to get into their email to check. In this email, you want to include a map with a route where you can meet up. You're going to want to include things to bring and not to bring. Things to bring being water, preservable food, not to bring extra pairs of jeans. If you don't know why jeans are not the best option to bring, they get extremely damp and do not repel water well enough, and they just become a pain. Things to bring also, I don't know, if they have pets, for example, give them ideas how to pack their pet. Make sure they have enough food for their pet, or if they plan on just opening the door and letting their pet out, let them know that that's what they need to do. And what else they could prep if possible. Cash instead of a credit card. Obviously, that makes sense to me and to you if you're watching this, I'm sure, but to somebody else like this, might not make sense to them. Cash is most important. Always keep a reserve of cash somewhere in your house. If it gets stolen, hey, it gets stolen, it's just cash, but if you need it and it's there, you got it. And finally, about this email, you don't want to wait to send it, because when something does go down, you might not be able to send it. Like I said earlier, the internet might be down. Send it now. Say in the email, look, I know you're not into this at all. I know this may seem crazy to you. This is my hobby, not yours. I understand that. But here's what I've come up with in case of this, something happening. And you can list what kind of things will happen. They'll know when it's time to get the fuck out if they're smart enough. So you really don't have to list tons of different things like this. But here, I care about you enough to send this out to everyone I know. We're going to be together if something like this happens, and we have a support system with, we can support each other mentally, physically, and hopefully if you don't have something, you can bring it, and I can support you with something that I have too. Let them know that you're doing this out of their best interest. They might say, hey, this is crazy, and delete it off their email and never download what you give them. Okay, well, that's their fault when something happens, I suppose, but I'm guessing most of them will just say, okay, fine, put it up in a file for later. Now, when you should, what am I trying to say here? What is going to happen to cause you to leave? Now, this is very complicated, but I just want to run down a couple things that you might say, okay, this is a good time. Because of this, I'm going to get the fuck out. One of the first ones, school being canceled for kids. If you have kids, you'll know this definitely. If not, watch the news, listen to the radio, know when schools are canceled. Because they're smart enough to know that they don't want big groups of kids sitting around for something to happen to. That's pretty much lets you know that there's something wrong with your safety in the area. That's a good time to get out. A strong military presence in your area means They're not putting the military there just to have a parade, okay? It means that there is some kind of a force that the military is going to be involved with. Either it's you or somebody trying to hurt you. That's a big sign to get out. An invasion of from another country. You'll know if it's happening. I live right near the border, so I'll definitely know. I'll be able to hear if it's happening. I live hop, skip, and a jump away from another country. A natural disaster or warnings of natural disaster. Now, that's my main list. But you have to be careful with this, because if you have a job and you're working and one day you just don't show up for work but everyone else does, school's canceled, there's a strong military presence, generally business is just going to go on as usual, either out of ignorance or just because they're money hungry. You may lose your job. Now, if it turns out to be something, let's look at Katrina. Now, in Katrina, if you left 2 days beforehand, before you thought the levee was going to break or this major hurricane was coming, you would have been fine afterwards. Now, let's say you left work and then it didn't happen, you could possibly be fired. I think that's lawsuit ready right there, but just be prepared that you might be kicked out of your job for something like that. Taking the kids out of school if there's a strong military presence is fine too. Now, you are doing this in your best nature, and you should also do this as early as possible, because if you, let's look at Katrina again, if you're leaving, you pack up your car after the fact, and load up especially your weapons, head out, hit a military checkpoint, they're going to take most of your stuff from you, as far as weapons are concerned. And you don't want that to happen. You want to keep as much of your survival prepping necessities as you can, so get out early. Alright, so this was wrapped up faster than I thought it would. Just a good idea to let your family know what you're up to and how you think you can help them, how they can help each other, and send that email in a PDF form so they can download it and have it. When that day comes, they can say, oh yeah, I got this email from so-and-so, pop it up. Okay, this is the plan, we already know. And that's also good, especially if there's no communication. If you can't call them or reach them in with any type of communication. That's something they have, say, oh, you know what, they might be at this spot because that's what it says right here if something happens. Now, I also wanted to just bring this guy in. This is Betsy. This is my home defense shotgun. It's also one of my hunting weapons. I'm not incredibly wealthy, so I can't afford to have more than one gun for home defense and hunting. This is what I use for small game mostly, other than like a .22. This is just easier. Now, I got a couple things on here. It's like a camouflage barrel I used to use for turkey hunting. It's got a fiber optic sight, but this is a Mossberg. I think it's an 8.7, no, not 8.78, that's Remington. I'm losing my mind here. 8.35. It's an older shotgun. It used to be a prison gun, actually, in Attica State Prison. I just got this shell holder on the butt here. And I've got them facing down, and this is why. Because if I need to reload, I'm coming with my left hand underneath and popping them in. I could also come with the right hand and pop them over the top, but I usually practice with my left hand. These are game loads, not buckshot. Game loads should be used for home defense, not buckshot. Number one is because they penetrate through walls less than buckshot. Number two is they have a smaller spread, which would do much more damage to a human body than buckshot. Okay, if you don't believe me on that, you say, oh, it's buckshot double O all the way. There's some videos, look them up. I'm not going to be doing those, they're already out there. But, you know, what fun is a video without showing a little firepower? So, that's my shotgun, and send those emails out.